Hey there folks, and welcome back to another one. Today I have one of the most interesting firearms of human history here, the Italian Carcano. And I'm going to be asking the question, is it still worth purchasing one of these rifles in 2025? Before we get this video underway, I want you all to head down to the comment section and let me know if you think it's still worth purchasing one of these rifles in 2025. Originally named the Model 1891 Carcano, the Carcano rifle was designed originally by Salvatore Carcano in Italy. It began its design due to the fact that the existing Vetterli rifles that the Italian military were using were ultimately outclassed by foreign nations, so they needed to come up with a new idea for the Italian military. The design of the rifle was adopted from the German Gewehr 88, essentially just fitted with Italian sights, and the barrel jacket was removed. After its initial designing phase, the rifle was then recommended for service on March 5th of 1892, later being approved on March 29th of the same year, and ultimately landing itself in service in the year of 1894. Production of the Carcano ran from 1892 through till 1945 at the end of World War II. It was estimated that 5 to 6 million of these rifles were produced in all variants combined. There are several different variants of the Carcano rifle. The most common ones being the Model 1891, the Model 1891 Cavalry Carbine, which I have here. This is a first year service 1894 model. And the Model 1891/38, which, as most people know, is most commonly known for being the rifle that was used by Lee Harvey Oswald to assassinate President JFK. A couple other models that are chambered in 6.5x52 are the Model 1891 TS and the Model 1891/24. They also produce some other models being the 1891/28, 1891/38 TS, and the 1891/38 Cavalry Carbine, all of which were actually chambered in a different caliber, the 7.35x51 mil. Ultimately, they had to reverse that caliber due to complications with the cartridge and reverted them back to 6.5x52 Carcano. And finally, they produced the Model 1941, which ended the reign of the Italian Carcano in the Italian military. The Carcano fires the now uncommon 6.5x52 Carcano cartridge, which is a rimless cartridge that was developed between 1889 to 1891. The rifles can also be found rechambered for a couple other different calibers. The 6.5x54 Mannlicher Schonauer, which was actually rechambered by the Austrians in World War I and later by the Greeks in World War II. And both of these cartridges are going to have extremely similar ballistics. I don't have any 6.5x54 to show you because it is extremely uncommon to find, but they are being produced by the company PPU out of Serbia. Some other similar cartridges to the 6.5x52 Carcano is the 6.5x55 mil Swedish Mauser and the 6.5x50 mil Arisaka. Additionally, in the USA, Americans had renamed the 6.5x52 to the 6.5 Italian, to not have it confused with its 6.5x52 rimmed cartridge, which would be the 25-35 Winchester. The availability and value of the cartridge itself is relatively stable, running an average of $35 to $40 Canadian for a box of 20. The cartridge is available in both full metal jacket for target shooting applications and soft point for hunting applications. The only current well-known manufacturer for 6.5x52 Carcano is PPU out of Serbia, while other small companies out of the US, such as Milsurp Munitions, is also manufacturing it in the proper diameter, which I will get into later in the video. The cartridges are loaded into the rifle via the N-block loading clip system, which loads from the top of the rifle, right here, carrying a capacity of 6 cartridges. As it loads, it will depress the lever here under spring tension, or the follower. As you load the stripper clip from the top, you will push down, and ultimately the clip will lock into place, like so. Now, it is vital to ensure that the cartridges are properly seated. In here, there is a little rim. That rim is going to lock the little rim here on the cartridge into place, like so. If they are not past that little indent, they will ultimately slide out like so. Usually, the two on the end will be relatively loose. The ones in the middle, on the other hand, will be locked in. It is essential to ensure that the majority of the cartridges are locked in behind that indent. Otherwise, the rifle will not function properly and your cartridges will begin to protrude upward and cause a malfunction. Once you are on your last cartridge, after either cycling out all the other remaining cartridges or firing them all, the last cartridge will be chambered in and the clip will fall out of the bottom via gravity. And just a reminder to always make sure you pick up your stripper clips after they have been dropped, as they are extremely malleable and can be easily deformed if stepped on. Carcano rifles are notorious for being extremely inaccurate, and that is actually attributed to the cartridge itself and not the rifle. Modern cartridges are designed with a 6.5 mil projectile, which in inches is 0.264 diameter. Whereas these rifles were actually bored out to the diameter size of 0.267 or 0.268. So what ultimately happens is there is not enough rifling on the projectile, which causes poor stabilization of the projectile as it leaves the barrel and leads to further inaccuracies downrange. On a bright note though, like many other older rifles, these rifles are very low maintenance. On another bright note, the value of these rifles. On the Canadian market for a unissued model 1891 cavalry carbine, they are only going for anywhere from $280 to $320 Canadian. Or if you were to look on the used market, you can find them for as low as $150 to $200, which lands this as by far the most inexpensive centerfire rifle you can buy in Canada. As of the making of this video, the importer for the Carcano rifles in Canada has actually run out of their stock of unissued rifles. Now, despite that, I have not seen any fluctuation in the market whatsoever. And in my opinion, the main attributor to that is because these rifles are still probably readily available. I'm sure the importer will get them again, and they will be available soon enough. A really cool fun fact actually about these particular rifles, the Model 1891 Cavalry Carbine or the Model 1891/38 Cavalry Carbine, is that they were heavily used by the Italian Bersaglieri, which were a bicycle-only cavalry unit that were mainly using these rifles just as kind of a protection during their reconnaissance missions. Nice and compact. They actually fit it on the side of the bicycle, and if needed, I guess they could do a little charge. There are a lot of pros and cons when it comes to this rifle. Some of the pros being the cleaning factor, super easy to clean, super easy to disassemble, and the price. The price is fantastic. Very affordable for the average Canadian. Likewise with the ammunition, it's a relatively fair value, mainly because it does carry that 6.5 diameter projectile, which is readily available. Unfortunately, in my opinion, they are all overshadowed by that one major con, the accuracy. The accuracy on this rifle is terrible. It is diabolical. I'm not going to ever recommend anybody to go out and try and shoot groupings with this rifle. You're going to get very piss poor accuracy unless you reload yourself. If you reload with the proper projectile design, you will have very good luck in my opinion. Likewise, if you live in the US, you can purchase some ammunition from Milsurp Munitions and be able to shoot this rifle more accurately. But for those of us firing the standard 6.5 by 52 cartridge from PPU, it's just not worth it. Now, a lot of you are probably wondering, with all that information, is it worth purchasing one of these rifles in 2025? They are super cheap, ammo's readily available, but they have bad accuracy. Do I think it's worth it? In my opinion, I don't think so. Unless you are purchasing this rifle strictly as a historical piece, a wall hanger, a collection, I don't think it's worth purchasing one of these rifles to fire with factory ammunition. Again, for those of you who are looking to reload, I think it is potentially going to be a good option. But judging by the fact that Milsurp Munitions is manufacturing them in the US, I think for those people, it is probably worth it. In Canada, if you just want to shoot something cheap, get some ammo off the shelf, it's not really the perfect rifle to do that. Like I said, wall hanger, perfect. For firing, not so much. For a couple extra $100, you can go and get a Husqvarna model whatever in 6.5 Swede, and it's going to be way more accurate, way more reliable. You can even get some Carl Gustavs for around 500 bucks I've seen. Husqvarnas you can get for like 350, 400 bucks. Relatively available. You can find them pretty easily. So I would say I'd prefer people that are looking to shoot, go ahead and do that. Ammo's about the same price as this 6.5 Carcano ammo. But if you're just looking for a collector piece, it's a great option. This gun has a lot of history. So all in all, that is my opinion on if it's worth purchasing one of these rifles in 2025. Like I said, I want to see if any of you have a similar or different opinion down in the comment section. And let me know if I change your opinion throughout this video, because I would really like to see that as well. Alrighty folks, that is all for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and if you did, remember to leave a like down below and consider hitting that subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this in the future. Have a good one folks, and take care.